Hello, folks, and welcome to the October issue of the Flatcar Developer Sync. This is the meeting where we look at developer-focused things like our task boards, our roadmap, and our release plan, contrary to the office hours, which is in 2 weeks, where we are more user-centric. I am replacing Cyan today. Cyan is enjoying his vacation, and I'll lead through the meeting. So before I share the agenda, we're not too many, but we have a new guest today. So why don't we make a quick round of introductions? Stefan, do you want to start?
Yeah, hi, so I'm Stefan. I'm from Cloud-Based Solutions, and I joined this meeting in order to present you with the updates I've made and the progress I've made regarding the Flatcar support for OpenStack Magnum.
Nice. Great to have you. So, I should have said that earlier. In our intro round, it is tradition that you introduce yourself and then pick the next person who needs to introduce themselves.
Okay, Mathieu, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. Mathieu, I work with the Flatcar team, and recently I've been involved on Cluster API OpenStack, so happy to have you, Stefan. What about you, Dongsu?
Hi, my name is Dongso. I'm also part of the Flatcar maintenance team at Microsoft, and based in Berlin. And usually I'm working on update engine in Rust UERS project with William and Kai. Next is Johanan.
Yeah, I guess I'm left. I'm Yohanan. I'm part of the cloud native infrastructure team at Microsoft. I'm based in Israel. And in this context, in the context of this meeting, I'm mostly involved in Cluster API work.
Awesome. We have a strong Cluster API leaning group today, and that's amazing to see because this work is outright amazing and impressive. All right, let me share the agenda and then walk through the individual items for today. This is more or less a stock meeting. We don't have any surprises, though we have a few updates on progress. Window agenda. All right. So here's our development agenda. We'll have a quick roadmap review. We'll have a project status review after that, where Johanan will update us on Cluster API. Kai unfortunately couldn't make it to today's meeting, so I would propose that we skip the SysExt updates, because there'll be a lot of SysExt updates in the roadmap review and the task review anyways, and instead give the word to Stefan on the Magnum integration. Just use that slot for that. Yeah, that's followed by the tactical implementation, basically our task board update. We discuss items that are open for grabs, and then head over to the release planning. All right, then let's start with the roadmap. So that part's traditionally on me. Usually Cyan would lead through the meeting and I'd be the roadmap, I'd present the roadmap. We've made a bit of progress on the SysExt front, SysExt integration in Flatcar, and we actually concluded the torques removal. So that's this item. So we can move that here. That is queued for release. It has been merged. It's been thoroughly tested. And so we'll look into SysExt for composable images next. It's an exciting topic for us. And I guess those two issues here, those two tracking items, those could actually be merged because they're discussing the same thing. And the composable image-based OS plans is way better fleshed out. So I'll have a chat with Kai when he's back on merging those two items. And that's pretty much it for the roadmap All right. Then let's head over to the special projects. Johanna, do you want me to continue sharing, or do you want to share yourself because you want to move items around?
No, please do. I've moved the items already in advance.
Perfect. Okay. Then here goes.
Thanks. So separating Bootstrap from provisioning, that's the bottom item in the in progress column. Still work in progress, will likely take a very long time, a lot of design work, a lot of back and forth between myself and other contributors and maintainers. So no exciting news yet, but we are making progress. Magnum support, good progress there. Flatcar support is merged, but not released yet. Haven't tested it personally, but yeah, it looks good. Race condition between kubeadm and containerd. We don't see it on the board because it's closed already, but yeah, basically I couldn't reproduce the issue, but nevertheless I implemented a workaround, relevant providers just in case, because we could do it without affecting anything, and yeah, so that issue is closed. And regarding systemd sysx images, still work in progress. Matthew will open a PR with the CAP-O team soon. And yeah, Matthew or anybody else, if anybody wants to elaborate, then please do. That's it today on my end.
Thanks for the update, Johanna. Then I'll stop sharing my screen and give the word to Stefan to discuss the Magnum work.
Yep. So first of all, I want to start by saying that at the moment there are currently 2 Magnum drivers which use the cluster API implementation. One is made by VexHost and the other one is made by StackHPC. And at the moment, I've added support for Flatcar to both of them. And the work I've made on the VexHost driver is already merged. And the work I've made on the StackHPC's driver isn't currently merged. I just finished working on it at the end of the last week, and I'm going to discuss it with the guys from StackHPC. And the thing is, at the moment, both drivers are currently maintained out of 3. Only StackHPC's driver they have agreed to merge it upstream into the Magnum project, and after this meeting there's going to be a Magnum PTG, and we're going to see more on that over there. Also, I've prepared 2 demos with both of the drivers working. If you would like to see it, then I will share my screen. Okay, let me know if you see it.
Yep.
Looks good.
Good. So this is StackHPC's driver. It works directly with some Helm templates. And here, after after deploying the first cluster, we can see that the Helm chart is installed. Let me just maybe zoom in a bit in the. Can you see in the top right?
Yeah, a little small but legible. Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically the control plane. We can see that the control plane machine is provisioning. This is all sped up. The actual deployment takes about 7 to 8 minutes, depending. So I'm going to skip it a bit. Now we're waiting for a kubeadm init. The control plane was initialized. And now the first worker node is being provisioned. Then the API server is available. Now it's joining the cluster. And we can see that it's Flatcar, first of all. And also it should be, yeah, it changed. It's create complete now. and then the health checks will start on the cluster. And I'm actually connecting to the cluster and deploying some sample and Nginx deployment just to see it works. So yeah, that's basically Stack HPC's driver. And if you would like, I also have a demo for VexHost driver. This one is merged already. Again, we have the cluster template. Then I'm going to create it. I'm going just to skip ahead to the part where the control plane is actually running. I'm just going to skip it. Okay. So the main difference between them is that Stack HPC's driver uses Helm, and VexHosts uses cluster classes, and then a bunch of patches are made for Flatcar. Then it's completed. I also shared the config, so we have, yeah, and also the health check is passing. Yep, and I also connected to the node again and deployed something on the cluster. Yeah, so that's basically it for now.
This is great to see this. Yeah, good work on this topic. I have one quick question. Which image do you use to deploy Flatcar? I mean, you need to build an image, but
Yeah.
do you have some CI pipelines that build the image? And
No, at the moment for development, I just build my own images locally.
Okay, because
using
there is
image builder.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Yanan.
Did you build the image using image builder or using some other method? Okay.
No, using image builder.
Okay, and it worked for you. Okay, good.
Yeah. I had some problems on Ubuntu Jammy, but then it worked also on Jammy. But I built them on Focal.
Awesome. Any more questions from you folks? Cool. Thank you so much for your work and for the demo, Stefan. That's pretty awesome. It's great to see that this gets even wider adoption. Something that we're currently looking into is using stock Flatcar images instead of SysX, instead of pre-built image builder images, and then kind of composing at provisioning time with the Kubernetes SysX. Matthew has more information on that. It's been working pretty nicely with Cluster API, and it removes the need to actually even build your own image. You can use a stock Flatcar OpenStack image and put Kubernetes on top, and so it makes things a lot more flexible. Something to investigate in the future. I think the OpenStack folks are like it, right?
Yeah, they did, and I'm about to send a PR, like Johanan said, regarding this. So yeah, the idea would be to just remove the image builder dependency and use plain Flatcar image and use Kubernetes SysX images on top of it. There is some demo on YouTube if you want to have a look, or some gist on my GitHub account if you want to check the configuration and see how it works under the hood.
Do we already know what the penalty is in terms of provisioning time? Because I assume it takes slightly longer to deploy the layers on top of the vanilla OS compared to just spawning a VM from an image.
To be honest, I didn't compare yet. I was too focused on having the proof of concept being done, but during my test, I didn't notice anything longer or quicker. So I think it's about the same time. The only remaining point we have is that currently we don't provision the image with the Docker images already not the Docker images, but yeah, the kubelet dependency and stuff like that already installed on the machine. So we need to
they need to be pulled.
Yeah, need to be pulled with kubeadm in it, which is not the case with the image builder.
Yeah, and that touches another point, which is reliability. So, yeah, I guess I'm really curious to see the solution. I mean, I did see your demo, your POC, Matthew, but yeah, so when we are adding another moving part on top of what we had before, let's say, so pre-baked images, then we need to make sure that we're not introducing new opportunities for runtime problems when creating nodes, especially when thinking about like auto-scaling infrastructure and stuff like that. Just a general comment. This is not specifically about OpenStack. Yeah, just an opportunity to mention that.
Absolutely. And this has been bubbling up most interestingly a number of times, right? Even though when you provision a cluster, the actual base OS image needs to be pulled from somewhere as well, and you could theoretically use the same place to host the Kubernetes SysX. But in terms of infrastructure and maintenance, yes, that's another moving part. So something that some other thing alternative that we investigated is how to take a Flatcar release image and then just put at a well-known place the SysX, so that at provisioning time everything's there, everything can still be validated, and the operating system is still read-only, but it kind of finds a pre-filled SysX. So a number of users have raised that and have expressed interest. So that's also a venue that we're exploring. And like the whole thing, even if you bake in the SysX, it's still a ton easier than Image Builder. So it's still a interesting venue to explore.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's an interesting solution for air-gapped environments too. So like
Exactly.
keep the SysX mechanism, just have either pre-baked or non-pre-baked versions of your images. Yeah, that's cool.
All right, then I'll share my screen again. And we are at the technical, the tactical. So there have been quite a few bits and pieces in movement lately with the Torx replacement. So we have added new tests to Mantle and have made the existing Torx tests aware that Docker in newer versions will be shipped in a SysX instead of Torx. That makes the whole Docker thing more flexible. The PR, which is a massive PR of replacing Torx with a Docker SysX, has been merged yesterday. All tests are green. And also at the same time, the all of the Torx bits were removed from the build automation, and Torx was removed from the base OS image. So that's pretty much done and in review. That's more or less what I've been looking into in this cycle. Anything you want to talk about, Matthew and Dongsu? Starting with Matthew, any items that you've been working on?
Yes, regarding systemd SysX, we almost conclude the migration of existing OEM, so DigitalOcean, Equinix Metal, OpenStack, VMware, Azure are done, and AWS too, and we're now working on migrating the GCP one to systemd SysX, so this is what I'm currently doing. And yes, that's it for the systemd SysX topic. And other than that, I was primarily looking into the release this week.
Awesome. Dongsu, you've been tackling UERS recently, right?
Yes, I'm working on mini UERS as well as updated SSH keys, and I'm migrating its unit test from Python to Rust. And yeah, I'm still waiting for review, especially from Kai. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome, great work, and it's great to see traction there. For the uninitiated, the update client that handles updates, validation, and everything on the deployed OS side. So that component is called Update Engine. It's more or less a legacy component which we're maintaining, but larger changes are pretty painful. So we started a low-level re-implementation in Rust, and that is UERS. And Dongsu has been pushing a lot of work there lately, and it's amazing to see. All right, I have like a very small, not really a demo, but something that I want to demonstrate regarding the recent Torx removal SysEx changes to you folks to this call, and then we can move on to the release planning. So. And this is basically the main branch now. This is not released. This will come with the next alpha at the end of November. So I actually have it in the history, I think. Okay, so we're looking to 2 files. The first file is called build image. It does exactly that. It builds the Flatcar operating system image. And the other file is an ebuild that doesn't have any logic, but only a lot of dependencies. And so that ebuild basically contains all of the dependencies of the base operating system. And I have it open somewhere, so we'll open it read only. All right, so the lower part is the ebuild, right? And you see basically a lot of packages listed here in the rdepend ebuild variable, and this is what makes up the base OS image. Now, Torx and some of the Docker bits used to be part of that, and they're not there anymore. And nothing that is Torx is in the ebuilds anymore. Instead, you have a way more flexible way of kind of composing your image if you build your own image from scratch. The build image file, so the build image script that builds your operating system image, takes a command line argument that's called base sysex. Base sysex basically is kind of a key value thing separated by comma. So you have the key that is kind of the name of the sysex, and then you have the value, and that is the package that is being built into the sysex. And then separated by comma, you have the next thing. And in this case, this is Docker. So this line, more or less, is the user visible replacement of Torx, and it takes care of that the base OS image, which doesn't include Docker anymore, gets a container sysex and a Docker sysex added, and those are part of the base image. Now, the kind of options that this enables custom operating system image builds is obviously you can give a base sysex command line argument, and you give it the empty string, and then you'll have an image that doesn't have any Docker or container D. So basic Flatcar operating system image without anything. You could drive it further, and you could just remove items from here from the ebuild that you don't think you need in your custom image, and you could either make them sysex or not have them at all, and that way arrive at a super minimal Flatcar image to build for yourself. And you'd have the opportunity to upstream those changes by moving the dependencies into the sysex line. So the upstream official Flatcar image would still ship all of those tools and binaries, but there would be kind of a base image version of that doesn't have them anymore because all of them are sysex. And that's what I've been dabbling with during this Torx removal. All right. That's it from me. Oh, wait, there's 2 more items that are now in progress, and that is the Docker upgrade. So just building on the Docker sysex work, we'll switch to probably Docker 24 quite soon if the tests are all good and if everything works out. And we've been maintaining our own Docker ebuild in the past, and we're looking into switching to the Gentoo ebuild to just benefit from from Gentoo work and Gentoo testing there, and we'll also spearhead the development there a little and stabilize Docker releases that Gentoo still considers unstable, and then report back, given our thorough test suite, to upstream Gentoo and help them to stabilize new Docker versions. And that's all I had from the tactical board. Any other issues that you folks want to mention in our day-to-day work? Cool. All right. I guess that concludes this part of the DevSync. The thing that is left to do is the release planning. Usually Cyan would do it. Dongsu volunteered to jump in and discuss the currently planned releases. Dongsu, do you want me to share my screen, or want to share yourself?
Let me share my screen. Okay, can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah, we have a release board as usual. The second column is currently ongoing release of this 4th week of October. The third column is for the next one, so it is 3rd week of November. And usually we are supposed to do releases twice in a month. The first week of a month and the 3rd week. However, last week we could not finish the release because we discovered the bug in kernel 5.15, which is included in stable LTS 2023. So we had to retag and rebuild the kernel, and it is currently almost done. Yeah, and this all packages should be included in the current release, upcoming release, including all channels. And so, for example, Go and curl packages will be updated for security issues. The next release would happen in the 3rd week of November, not the 1st week of November, because first week of November would be only a few days, a week plus several days. So that will be too tough. So we decided to skip the first one and do the next release in the 3rd week. So in November 20th, we will be releasing alpha, beta, and stable as usual. And yeah, several packages are to be updated. So if you are interested in the release and package updates, then yeah, feel free to jump in. And yeah, for example, the Torx deprecation should be released in that November release. And another issue with the release is that we should release Azure Marketplace images at the same time. However, there has been an issue with Azure Marketplace, so the certification of Azure Marketplace images has been stuck for weeks. So we had a discussion and conversation with Azure Marketplace team. And finally, we are able to finish Azure Marketplace images. However, until the September release, so for example, the stable 35.10 2.8, That means the newer versions should be now published one after another. Yeah, that's it. Any question?
Very happy with the work. It needs to be stressed that one reason our current release is late is because we uncovered a kernel bug in the 5.15 LTS stable kernel series during testing, and that bug has been fixed upstream, and we're just waiting for the new upstream kernel release to ingest, which usually only takes a few days, as it did in this case. So that's why this is late. And that's why the early November update will not happen, and we'll push back in late November, because we have a massive amount of changes for alpha with all of the Torx replacement and SysX stuff. So yeah, that's the story behind that.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you very much, Dongsu, for the release planning update. This brings us to our conclusion. Are there any questions or comments that you want to make before we shut down the call?
All good on my side.
Awesome. Great to have you, folks. Hope to see you in the office hours in the early next month, and have a great time. Bye.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.